Right now, I want to go to Larry Kudlow, the National Economic Council Director. He joins us outside the White House. Larry, very good to see you again. How are things looking?
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. Pleasure to be back on the show.
So let's get a sense of this jobless claims report. It continues steady improvement we've seen on the claims front, now under 1 million. First time more than 20 weeks we've seen that. Do you think that this will signal that the 10.2% unemployment rate we've got now, which is down from almost 15% at the height of all of this, is going to be under 10%?
Well, it's awful hard to predict these things short run, particularly in the virus period, because we haven't had this pandemic in 100 years. But I acknowledge your point. Claims had sort of leveled off. Last 2 weeks, I think they've come down nicely. Continuing claims coming down, Neil. Some people think that's a leading indicator of the unemployment rate. I wouldn't be surprised if it dropped to single digits in the August report. I don't want to make a forecast, just it wouldn't surprise me. Across the board, the president did this at his news conference last evening. We are seeing not only a tremendous stock market rise, but we're seeing V-shaped recovery. Housing, manufacturing, automobiles, retail sales, all V-shaped recoveries so far, May, June, July. We were concerned that the hotspot virus pop-ups in key states in the South and West would restrain the economic recovery. I think what's happening is there was some restraint with respect to businesses and restaurants, small business restaurants, but it was very small. That's the reading right now. It's a hard thing. I hate to predict, but so far that's what we see, which means I think the V-shaped recovery is intact, and I would argue with no inventories and zooming consumer car demands and other demands, this will be a self-sustaining economic recovery with a very big numbers in Q3 and Q4.
You know, Larry, Republicans have been saying on the Hill right now that this latest report gives them a little bit more resolve to say we can cool it on the stimulus. I don't know the total cost of what the president had been talking about with his executive actions, but let's assume it's at around $1 trillion. I mean, that's as generous as Republicans and the president plan to be. Is that accurate?
Yeah, at the present time, that's exactly right. That's exactly what the president has been saying. That's what Secretary Mnuchin and Chief Mark Meadows have also said. Look, Neil, I don't want to pronounce. I mean, right now, the negotiations are stalled. We were asked by Speaker Pelosi, I think, to get our numbers up to $2 or $2.5 trillion. Secretary Mnuchin said no, because the president prefers a $1 trillion number. By the way, so does Mitch McConnell and the Republican caucus, Republican conference in the Senate. So I don't want to negotiate on the show, but I'm just saying we're not going to make a big commitment. This is even apart from the improving economic numbers. There are many, many things in this bill that have nothing to do with COVID, and that is very troubling to the president. You know, things, whatever your opinion is about voting by mail or harvesting votes or signing your voter card or letting felons out of jail or giving assistance to aliens, immigrants, whatever your view is on that, they have nothing to do with COVID. And we want this to be a much narrower, much more targeted bill. So the numbers and the shape of the bill and the contours has to all change. I don't want to speculate on it. I'm just saying, we just had a meeting with the president in the Oval Office, and, you know, these things are what he wants.
You know, Larry, I know the payroll tax cut feature that the president has been espousing here, and for those earning $104,000 or less, a lot of CEOs with whom I talk are a little uncomfortable about it because while they might support what he's doing, they're, you know, convinced that this will be reversed. They'll be on the hook for this money if they dole it out now. I know the president has talked about, you know, maybe addressing this later if he is reelected, maybe after that point, make this permanent. He's talked about a permanent payroll tax cut, but how do you get them to go along with this? Because they're leery of the fact it's just him stating it, not Congress doing it.
No, fair enough. Look, the president will be talking to a lot of CEOs. I will be, Secretary Mnuchin, others in the administration. The president is determined to forgive the deferral amount, the payback, if you will. That's what he's been talking about this past week. He's not ending the Social Security tax or anything like that, but he would like to forgive and terminate any payback. And he is determined to do everything in his power. It probably will be a post-election issue. If he is reelected, without question, we think we can get this deferral forgiven. So that's probably the best we can do, is just to assure people that this is where our policy is going, and that's where the president's determination is going. And as you know, when President Trump is determined to do something, more often than not, he gets it.
He has also said, and he echoed it again today, Larry, that if Joe Biden had his way and he were elected president, you could kiss all of this economic improvement goodbye. The markets that are, flirting with new records. Again, the S&P just short of one today. The Nasdaq in and out of records. The Dow 5% away. All that goes. Now, the Kudlow, Kamala Harris team. Joe Biden has been saying, no, that's not the case here. We will make this fair. What do you make of that when they say, we will make this fair?
What I make of that is higher taxes. It's very clear that the other team is going to raise taxes. It's in their policy book. We're looking at least a $3 trillion tax increase. I would just say, Neil, I'm not the political guy. I'm a policy guy. If you're in or coming out of a pandemic contraction such as we have experienced, brutal, difficult, heartbreaking stuff, you don't want to be raising taxes. I mean, it's like, where are the Keynesians now that we need them? A self-respecting Keynesian would say, spend more and tax less. And that team, Biden team, is talking about, yeah, they are going to spend a lot more, but they're also going to tax a lot. They're going to raise corporate tax. They're going to raise the individual tax. They're going to raise the capital gains tax to 50%. What a deterrent to investment and productivity and real wages. They're going to take out the regulatory reforms. President Trump has rolled back regulations more than any other president in history. One reason why the economy was doing so well before the pandemic. I believe the Biden camp is going to roll back our reductions. They want to have the government run health care. Then they want to go after the oil and gas companies, what made us energy independent and brought down the price with plenty of supply. They're going to go after that. And on trade deals, they're so ambiguous. I don't think Mr. Biden will stand up to China. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, but so far we're not hearing it. I think he said he's going to take back the Trump tariffs. Look, the China deal, the rest of the China relationship is not good. But we are engaging on the China Phase 1 trade deal, no question. And Ambassador
Do you think
Lighthizer
China's going to make good on that, though, Larry?
Well,
do you think China's going to make good on that? With all the acrimony on both sides, a lot of people say you can kiss that deal goodbye.
No, I don't go there because, again, after our meeting, Ambassador Lighthizer really went through. China is purchasing more crops, more corn, more soybeans, more commodities, more agriculture commodities than we've ever seen before. I think he said 2017 was the peak commodity buy year for China at around 20% of the total. Now it's running 40 to 45% of the total. It's really quite good. I'm not saying they will make good on all parts of the deal. We don't know that yet. Intellectual property, forced transfer of technology, and so forth, which are very important issues. And, of course, the president is in a sour mood towards China regarding their very bad performance and lack of transparency with respect to the coronavirus, with respect to their taking freedom away from Hong Kong and ending a deal that was 50 years old, with respect to their behavior in the China South Sea, also their human rights, their lack of human rights with the Uyghurs. Those are big problems, and many of our people have talked about it. But on trade, we are engaged, and thus far, Ambassador Lighthizer is satisfied with the progress.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Larry Kudlow, thank you very much.